Mosquito versus fighter jet. Who's the real winner? Ever woken up in the middle of the night to this sound? Now imagine that same mosquito was the size of a fighter jet. How fast do you think it would move? How dangerous would it be? And if there was a race between a mosquito and a fighter jet, which one would win? One costs millions of dollars, its speed is faster than sound, and it carries missiles. The other is the size of a fingernail, but it can ruin your entire night. On one side of the ring, we have the fighter jet, an engineering masterpiece made of metal with a jet engine, radar, computers, and advanced weapons. On the other side, we have the mosquito, a tiny, lightweight, almost silent creature, but incredibly annoying, and in some parts of the world, even dangerous. The fighter jet uses radar and advanced systems to find its target, but the mosquito has its own detection system too. A mosquito can detect our breath's carbon dioxide, body heat, and even the smell of our skin. So you think you're hiding under the blanket, but the mosquito says, "Target acquired." In terms of straight-line speed, the fighter jet is way ahead. A modern fighter jet can move at several times the speed of sound. Some fighters reach over Mach 2, more than twice the speed of sound. But the mosquito? A mosquito's flight speed is usually just a few kilometers per hour. For example, about 2 kilometers per hour. So if it's a direct race, the fighter jet would be on the other side of the world before the mosquito even realizes the race started. But that's just the surface, because we haven't calculated the mosquito's speed relative to its body size yet. This is where it gets interesting. An average mosquito is about 5 millimeters long. A fighter jet is about 15 meters long. That means the fighter jet is roughly 3,000 times larger than the mosquito. Now let's imagine the mosquito was scaled up to the size of a fighter jet, and its speed increased by the same proportion. The mosquito's speed is about 2 kilometers per hour. Multiply that by 3,000, and you get about 6,000 kilometers per hour. That means if we had a mosquito the size of a fighter jet and its speed ratio stayed the same, it could move at nearly Mach 5, about 5 times the speed of sound. Of course, in the real world, this isn't possible. If a mosquito were the size of a fighter jet, it probably couldn't fly at all. But in terms of relative comparison, the mosquito isn't a slow creature at all. In fact, relative to its size, it performs amazingly. The fighter jet maneuvers in the sky, but the mosquito maneuvers in your bedroom. And believe me, the bedroom is a battlefield for the mosquito. You clap with all your might, but the mosquito dodges with a millimeter movement. Then it comes right back next to your ear and goes bzzz. The fighter jet needs a lot of space to turn, but the mosquito can change direction within a few centimeters. So in straight-line speed, the fighter jet wins. But in close quarters, nerve-wracking maneuvering, the mosquito is the world champion. A fighter jet is several meters long and can weigh several tons. It needs a runway, fuel, a pilot, maintenance crew, control systems, and tons of equipment to fly. But a mosquito weighs just a few milligrams. It's so light that even hundreds of mosquitoes don't add up to the weight of a small piece of the fighter jet. But this small size is the mosquito's real power. It's hard to see. It slips through cracks, moves in the dark, and attacks exactly when you're asleep. The fighter jet needs to get past radar to enter a zone. The mosquito just needs a half-open window to enter your room. Now, let's get to attack power. The fighter jet can carry missiles, bombs, and heavy equipment. Its direct destructive power is enormous. But the mosquito? Its weapon is a delicate proboscis. It lands on your skin, makes a tiny hole, and sucks blood. The mosquito bite itself usually just causes itching, redness, and annoyance. But the real danger is that some mosquitoes can transmit diseases like malaria, dengue, Zika, or yellow fever. So the fighter jet attacks with direct power, but the mosquito attacks with stealth, silence, and sometimes deadly consequences. Now let's get to the part where the fighter jet really has no chance: production. To build a fighter jet, you need factories, engineers, jet engines, radar, advanced parts, testing, massive budgets, and lots of time. Designing a new fighter model can take 10 to 20 years. Building each unit can take months to over a year. But the mosquito? The mosquito just needs some stagnant water. A female mosquito can lay about 100 to 300 eggs at a time. Under the right conditions, these eggs can become adult mosquitoes in about 7 to 14 days. Now, imagine a female mosquito lays 100 eggs. If only half of them are female, we have about 50 female mosquitoes in the next generation. If each of those lays another 100 eggs, we get 5,000 eggs. The next generation, the number can reach tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. Of course, not all eggs survive in nature, but the message is clear. The fighter jet is built on an assembly line. The mosquito multiplies explosively. The fighter jet factory is still tightening the first bolt, but the mosquitoes have already built their army. In terms of cost, the difference is also astonishing. A fighter jet can cost tens of millions of dollars. The cost of fuel, maintenance, pilot training, and repairs is also extremely high. But producing a mosquito is almost free. A container of stagnant water, a flower pot, an old tire, or a small puddle is enough. To build a fighter jet, you need a national budget. To produce mosquitoes, you just need to neglect stagnant water. Which is more dangerous? Now, the main question, is the mosquito more dangerous than the fighter jet? If we mean direct destructive power, definitely the fighter jet. A mosquito can't destroy a building or fire a missile. But if we look at the impact on humans and disease transmission, the mosquito is one of the most dangerous creatures in the world. Because some mosquitoes can transmit diseases that kill a large number of people every year. So the answer is, the fighter jet is more powerful, but the mosquito is more dangerous and widespread than we think. Summary: in straight line speed, the fighter jet wins. In speed relative to body size, the mosquito is astonishing. In indoor maneuvering, the mosquito is a nightmare. In mass production, the mosquito defeats the fighter jet. And in nerve-wracking annoyance, the mosquito is unrivaled. Now, my question to you. If a mosquito were actually the size of a fighter jet, how many minutes would the world last? By the way, let's not forget that Almighty God, with just a tiny mosquito, took the lives of some arrogant humans. Just like that. Comment your thoughts, and if you enjoyed this strange comparison, like the video and subscribe to the channel.